seconds remaining.
Hello and welcome to the Thunderfunking DotaCast. I'm Cranberry Thunderfunk, and this is the first match of the International 3. I can't tell you how excited I am, and you should be excited too, because this is the biggest eSports event in all of history, with the largest prize pool. I think it's above 2.7 million right now, and things are getting kicked off with the Wildcard match-off between RaTtLeSnAkE and Quantic. These two teams are the second place finishers in the Eastern and Western qualifiers, respectively. They're both really strong teams. Arguably, I mean, they're not. they obviously they play second in the qualifiers, so they're not. They haven't had quite the showing that some of these other teams have, but it's going to be a good match because they're both exciting teams. Quantic has consistently shown some very creative drafts. RaTtLeSnAkE, they go balls to the wall all the time. They're a little erratic, but their playstyle is aggressive. They love to be unpredictable, and I think there's almost no chance that this best of 5 is going to be anything but a lot of fun to watch. Let's just get into the draft, because it's that kind of game. RaTtLeSnAkE have done their homework, and they banned the Treant Protector. That's one of Quantic's go-to heroes, and kind of has been for the last month or two. Pretty much since DreamHack Summer, where Quantic showed off the Treant Protector Weaver combination. Quantic have put Treant Protector to really good use, and definitely deserves the first ban. Alchemist and OD, these two heroes have really become top bans across the entire scene. Alchemist is a very versatile carry who farms quickly, gets into the mid game, and can be 6-slotted by 30 minutes even if he doesn't have a great game. And that means you can put him just about wherever you want, and you don't have to worry that much about how far behind he's fallen. He's not like an anti-mage where if he gets ganked twice before his Battle Fury, he's going to be useless for the rest of the match. So he's really become a go-to carry in the last month or so. OD as well has just slowly risen up to being an erstwhile first ban to now a very consistent first ban, very frequently picked by almost all teams because it's just an amazing solo mid, great semi carry to have, hard to shut down. And the imprisonment is an excellent setup for a number of different kinds of stuns. Quantic started off with a Batrider and Darkseer, which is a pair of pretty OP picks, as well as a Visage. They're getting a lot of high value heroes. I'm not sure I see the synergy just yet, but they have some decent lockdown, good team fight, and good initiation. It's going to depend a lot on the Batrider, but the thing is, there's a Shadow Fiend on RaTtLeSnAkE, and Batrider has a pretty good time up against Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's vulnerable to those sort of pick-off oriented heroes, and I think it's a little. It unnerves me a little bit that RaTtLeSnAkE has picked the Shadow Fiend into a Batrider. He's a low HP hero. He has no escape mechanisms. He doesn't have an easy way to just turn her initiation around. The only thing he's got going on his side is the Requiem of Souls, and it's unlikely that he'll be able to get such a thing off in time if he gets initiated on. But he's going to be the primary target for Batrider Blink Lasso. And unfortunately, Shadow Fiend does. Depending on what he builds, if he gets a Shadow Blade, his positioning can be a little bit more conservative. But Shadow Fiend is not one of those heroes that can stand way back and deal all of his damage. He does need to be in the thick of things. He doesn't want to be the initiator, but he can't stand way back like a support and expect that the Batrider is not going to see him. Quantic rounds out this Second round with an Enchantress. Very mid-game oriented team so far. You know, no matter what carry they pick up here,
10 seconds remaining.
They're going to be looking to peak in the 20 to 35 minute range.
Turn to ban.
And the Enchantress is a great jungler. Very good versus Chen. Can steal Chen's creeps, which weakens him a healthy bit. And also, as far as supports go, provides a lot of long-range damage, which is nice versus Chen.
5 seconds remaining.
It's also good versus Shadow Fiend. That's pure damage that gets added from Impetus, and that means that that's ignoring Shadow Fiend's armor through agility, as well as Dragon Knights. So I really like the Enchantress pickup here. I think it's a good counter pick. I do like Chen on RaTtLeSnAkE, and something to note about Chen is that I believe the last major tournament that was played.
Gaming's turn to pick.
Which one was it? I think it was stats for the defense that showed that Chen is still the highest win rate hero in the game. Chen's just really useful in all stages of the game. Definitely falls off really hard, but you can't. It's impossible to underestimate
10 seconds remaining.
Overestimate even the utility of a global heal.
5 seconds remaining.
And the send back has really been a critical part of that. Good use of Test of Faith on your allies. Its uses are infinite, and you can really punish overextension or even a solid initiation by squandering the efforts of the enemy team to try and take one of your heroes down, especially if it's a carry. If you can save your carries over and over again, or if you can prevent those occasional pickoffs on your supports with good use of Test of Faith, then Chen really offers a lot for your team. Not to mention the great pushing and the auras and being a pretty decent farmer. That's another thing that he has over other supports, is that he's able to get his items up, get the mechanism.
10
Arcane boots. Whoa, and it's a Clinks. Very interesting. I think this is a very risky draft by Quantic. They're really relying on Clinks to provide their strength for them. I'm wondering if this is going to be a Clinks as a part of a tri-lane, or if he's going to be a solo off lane. But with there's a Darkseer, I would have to assume that it's going to be Clinks down in bottom lane, probably with Visage, Enchantress in the jungle. Now they could aggressively tri-lane this if they wanted to. It would be really it would be a clusterfuck, I'd say. That's how I'll put it. Enchantress versus Chen, yeah, that would be nuts. But it's a very interesting draft, and definitely all in on the mid game versus RaTtLeSnAkE. I mean, RaTtLeSnAkE has a very traditional draft here. This is very normal, I would say, for 6.78. Solid supports. The Weaver's been really common. Dragon Knight, a very highly favored semi-carry for Chinese teams. Really since over the last 2 years, but 6.78. He's always been present, thanks to a number of pretty minor buffs to his ultimate.
30 seconds.
So it does appear to be the Darkseer in the off lane, and it'll be Clinks down in bottom lane, and then Batrider middle. Okay. We'll see. I'm not sure what RaTtLeSnAkE is going to do with their lanes. They have a lot of options, but I'll run through the lineups before we get into this game. The first game of the International 3, and one that I'm super excited about. Sockshka is going to be on that Darkseer, headed up towards the top lane. Fucking mad. He's going to be on Visage. Goblak is going to be on Enchantress. Funzii on that Batrider, and a double damage on Silent, level 1. If he's got the Shikuchi, okay, he's been able to get away, but blows the salve on Icy, and it looks like it's actually going to be 1v1 down here, Clinks versus Weaver, and especially with that start blowing the regen early, it's going to favor Silent quite a bit. Huge auto attack harass with his searing arrows, and actually over mid, a little bit of engagement back and forth, but this is going to be a rough lane for Icy, at least in the beginning. So on RaTtLeSnAkE, Icy's going to be on Weaver down here. lanm is going to be on this Dragon Knight solo middle. It's getting a little bit of pressure from fucking Mad. And it does appear to be sort of it's not an aggressive tri-lane yet, but goblak is aggressively jungling, which is going to be a huge problem for Kabu on Chen. Chen relies on that early uninterrupted jungle to get his needed farm and levels. Particularly getting to level 5 is most important for Chen. He can gank before that, but he needs to get the second creep up in order to start having a big impact on the game. Another thing I like about this aggressive tri-lane from Quantic is that with the Darkseer, they're able to very easily challenge these pulls, and it's super dangerous for low on Shadow Fiend. There's just not a lot of... He's got to be super careful, and if they really wanted to take this dive, they've got the creeps from Enchantress to tank the tower shots. They've got the haste to get in position. There's a lot of ways for Quantic to make this work, and they've also got the Visage too. For the long range damage of the Soul Assumption. So I think this is a very strong aggressive tri-lane. It's a little weird, very unconventional, given that when there's a Chen, makes it a lot harder. And Quantic, they've got a lot of sentry wards up. They want to make sure that RaTtLeSnAkE has as little vision of them as possible. They don't want any easy setups. They've also got this ward here, which I like for the sake of preventing the rotation from Chen. That's another thing that we see very often from Chen players, is that they'll rotate middle. They might not even bother helping out their defensive tri-lane up in the safe lane, but Chen can pretty easily rotate middle, especially if he gets a smoke. And versus many heroes, that can be a very strong... It's not only an important kill, but it's a rather easy one to get, depending on what creeps he acquires. He hasn't had much luck yet. He's got a satyr, not ideal for either jungling or for ganking, generating a lot of the shockwave harass back and forth. Down at bottom, Silent is getting a little bit of advantage. 15-4 versus 10-0 on Icy, and Icy is completely out of regen here. He does have a bottle on the way, but with the double bottle on RaTtLeSnAkE, it's unlikely that lanm is going to be getting any runes, particularly against a Batrider. There's just not a lot of mobility he's going to be able to have, and it's pretty easy for funzii to push out this lane. Oh, still more. Oh, there's a net onto low. Are Quantic going to dive this? Oh, the Ion Shell. Is there any way? They've got the Impel. They need to... I think they could have been a little more aggressive there, especially if fucking Mad had stayed with them, getting the Soul Assumption off. But Quantic playing it safe. They don't want to give up... neither team wants to give up the first blood here. So, a tense back and forth up in this top lane. In terms of the last hits, it's definitely favoring Quantic. Low's a little bit behind in his last hits, and both goblak and sockshka are getting farm in this lane, which is pretty uncommon to see that in any aggressive tri-lane. It's usually difficult to find any farmer experience. In fact, Quantic's getting much more than you would expect out of any aggressive tri-lane. But that's the advantage of having an aggressive jungler. You're able to forcefully take the available farm in the jungle, as well as challenge the pulls. Quantic, look at their positioning here. They would love to dive this tower. They've got that. This is the perfect creep to have. The Dark Troll Summoners with the nets are just so powerful. And Chen actually steals the creep. Lands the... Oh, goblak. Just one more right click from Kabu, and he goes down. There might be a return kill here, but fucking Mad also goes down, and sockshka, he also goes down. It's a 3-for-1 overextension by Quantic. Huge for RaTtLeSnAkE. This is really what they needed. They're starting to fall behind, but over-aggression from Quantic. They didn't have vision of Kabu when he came around the corner and stole the creep, and that was a big factor in that fight going the way that it did. This Dark Troll Summoner was tanking the tower, and with that gone, Quantic started tanking tanking all the tower hits, and they went down one by one. It was just a bit of a sloppy engagement. So, whether they choose to continue this aggressive tri-lane, oh, actually, I like this. They immediately rotate, smoke up, they head towards mid. lanm is well extended, but are they going to be able to get there in time? The flame break, oh, nice flame break, pushes lanm back, but there's a rotation from Sag on Nyx Assassin. Lands the Impale on funzii. Are they going to be able to take him down? Oh, the Dragon Tail lands. Who's going to go down first? funzii, he's getting away. Oh, and a full soul assumption on Sag. Just one more right click, and yes, he does go down. Goblak picks up a double kill there. It's 3 for 3 now. Great rotation from Quantic. Really, that was exactly what they needed to do. There's no reason for them to continue in this aggressive tri-lane, especially now that they've given up 3 kills. There's plenty more on the map for them to find, and that's exactly what they do. They immediately smoke up, they head mid, they find the kill that's available on lanm. That solo who'd started pressuring funzii out of the lane. And I have to say, it's really impressive how well lanm is doing middle versus Batrider. Batrider should be winning this lane quite handily. But funzii is in fact 20 and 15 versus lanm's 20 and 0, and that's just fantastic. That's, you know, you don't pick Dragon Knight to win the lane. You pick him to be stable, so that he can show up in the mid game, be tanky, and initiate fights. Oh no! There's an initiation up onto low top. Easy kill for Quantic. The haste combined with the lasso, I think that's really all that they needed to take him down. So an important kill, and killing the Shadow Fiend. He's a very good comeback hero, but it is quite devastating. He's a great comeback hero because of his flash farming ability. His raises can make it quite easy to just blow through waves, through neutrals, get his souls back up, but that still means that he's missing a lot of his auto attack. Oh no, there's a chain stun onto Sockshka, but the one raise misses. Low finishes him off with the W. So good find there from Kabu, gets him with the centaur stun. Perhaps a misplay from Sockshka. So taking a look at Silent's farm, he's topping the charts by far here. 51 last hits right now. Second place right now is low. Silent's going straight for his Orchid, which that's no surprise there. He has opted to pick up an Aqua in the meantime. Once he gets that Orchid and his treads, he's going to start creating pressure around the map and potentially pushing down some towers. Klinx is great at tower damage because Searing Arrows can be applied to towers. That's a lot of bonus damage. RaTtLeSnAkE continues to barrel down top lane. They take the first tower of this game with the top tier 1. Thing is, chance creeps are a little bit low, and they don't really want to blow the Hand of God just to keep those creeps alive. So I don't think they're going to be able to take this tower. Quantic looks keen to challenge it. They do get a lot of damage onto it. Oh, I just send back on the lanm. Thought he might try something a little ballsier there, but no. Well, with the first towers going down, looking at net worth, I have to say it's pretty impressive that Low, at least to me, is in second place right now for the last hits. And actually, the extra aggression there costs RaTtLeSnAkE, denies the tower. That's not the worst thing in the world, given it's a tier 2, moving a lot of safety up in that top lane, but those are also the least valuable towers on the map. Could have just been free gold later in the game. They continue the pressure though. They've got Kabu's creeps here middle. Finished off with the soul assumption. They've got to be careful here. They don't want to get another tower denied. That's giving up a lot of gold later in the game. Quantic choosing to stay split up here. They want to stop this push with just 3 heroes. But because they don't have the Blink Dagger on funzii yet, It's honestly going to be a little bit late, given that he's mid. He should have it by about 11 minutes.
Tower is under attack.
And this is going to be the mid-tier 1 going down for RaTtLeSnAkE.
Radiant's middle tower has Dire's
There is a trade here.
tower has fallen.
Sockshka's up at top, and he manages to take down the first tower for Quantic. But Silent is not doing much pressure on the lane down at bottom, which I really think he could be. He should not be trying to join these fights until he's got his Orchid. He does provide something. Oh, he might find a free kill here on Kabu. But because I mean, this is the problem of not having that farm. Even if he just had treads, that would have been a kill. But it's really important to get your Orchid up on Clinks. It's completely core. So stopping on the way to the Orchid to get something like treads is not ideal. It can cost you kills like that, but it's unfortunate. They just need to get him farmed up and pushing on this lane as hard as possible. They need to distract RaTtLeSnAkE from grouping up, because that's clearly what they want to be doing. With Dragon Knight as well as the Chen creeps, they have a lot of tower damage, and they're tanky and a little bit difficult to initiate on. Particularly depending on what Chen creeps there are. Chen could be quite good versus Batrider, because if he's got the right creeps, that's too many targets for Batrider to. Oh, funzii's got his Blink Dagger now. He just picked it up, so does manage to get it on time thanks to that tower kill from sockshka. But it makes it hard for funzii to initiate on if there's a lot of high quality crowd control from Chen's creeps. You know, Icy, if he gets caught by the lasso here, he should go down. They've got the sentry down already. Oh, he does get the time lapse off, but are they still going to be able to finish him off? Just a few more right clicks, and he's able to get out of the sentry ward range. Just barely escapes by the skin of his teeth. So fortunate for Quantic there. They really needed that kill. That said, they should pick up the bottom tier 1 on the back of this.
Dire's bottom tower.
That said, RaTtLeSnAkE is rotating. There's two creeps from Kabu here. Already getting the tornado from the Wild Ring Ripper started. But, like I said, one of the nice things about Clinks
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
is his reliable tower damage. In fact, there's another teleport in from low. It looks like RaTtLeSnAkE is just going to turn this around and start pushing in towards the bottom lane, which I think is a great choice. Quantic would love to get their farm up for just a minute here, but RaTtLeSnAke's not going to let them. They're just going to keep applying pressure to all these towers across the map, removing a lot of map control, and that's going to reduce funzii's effectiveness in this game.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Now the question is, can Quantic challenge this? They still don't have that Orchid up on Silent. Oh, there's a nice find here by Sag. Completely popped. Goblak goes down. Now there's a soul assumption onto Sag, but fucking Mad is trapped inside the middle of the Chen creeps here, and he goes down. It's a double kill for lanm. A very valuable set of kills here for RaTtLeSnAkE, and they're going to take the bottom tier 1. Now there's a return kill on the support Nyx Assassin, but that's really okay. RaTtLeSnAkE comes out on top here quite a bit.
Middle tower is under attack.
The Enchantress it's a valuable support to take. They're Quantic's looking for a lot out of Enchantress this game. She needs to get her farm up, and her dying in these fights is really unfortunate, especially early on. Enchantress excels when she stays alive in the fight for a long time. Her Nature's Attendants are very, very powerful the longer they're able to go on. There's a teleport in here from funzii. lanm eats the chain stun, but he's just going to get sent back by Kabu, and so he's going to be completely safe. Now Silent, he's got his Orchid finally, and can he get the last auto attack on Kabu? Yes, he can. There's finally a kill for Silent. And that looks to be the only kill that Quantic will pick up in this chase.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They may be able to push it down, and yeah, they'll try and take down the bottom tier 1. Something of a back and forth game. 14 minutes in, it's about 1,500 gold in favor of RaTtLeSnAkE,
bottom tower is under attack.
and about 1,000 experience, so it's still very close. Oh no, low. He gets caught by the lasso. Not much that he can do about this. Still has not picked up his BKB. And in fact, it's a trade here. Silent sticks around for the tower kill and goes down to lanm. So it stays around too long. Really wanted the tower kill, and Quantic, because of that, because of the kill they got on low, they tanked a lot of the tower shots, and they dropped too low to secure the tower kill. So Silent tries to stick around to get that last hit, ends up feeding his life. Probably not worth it. In fact, I would say that's definitely not worth it. Especially because RaTtLeSnAkE now, they're just going to take over Quantic's jungle, choking out some of their map control. And I like the wards they've got here. Very aggressive sentries, in fact. As well as this ward. I really like this ward for the dire side. It's somewhat less commonly countered, and it provides a lot of vision of the traversing of the Radiant jungle. Shadowblade, we gotta look at items here now that we're 60 minutes in. Shadowblade is picked up on lanm. I think that's the ideal pickup on Dragon Knight. Has become de facto on Dragon Knight in the last few months. Just gives him great initiation power. Long range, sudden stun from the Dragon Tail. Mechanism is just about finished on Kabu. Just needs a few more 100 gold to finish that off. Sockshka, he's got his mechanism. Be curious to see. Oh, actually a solo kill from Silent onto low. Actually, that's a big deal. High value kill onto a high value carry. Very important for Quantic, and it's going to allow them to pressure this mid tier 1 quite a bit. Towers in this game are turning out to be quite even. As much pressure as RaTtLeSnAkE is applying, Quantic is doing just the same back. Oh, there's initiation onto Sag. It's just a support Nyx Assassin, but that's really okay. So he immediately goes down, but so does fucking Mad. And Icy, he's trapped inside the chain stun from the familiars. Low ports in, he uses the Requiem of Souls right on top of sockshka, but he's just died, so he's got low souls. And Icy has already gone down, but lanm picks up a kill on Goblak. It's a 2 for 2 so far. Sockshka, he pops the wand. Is he going to be able to make it out of this? He's at 80 health. One more raise from below, and he is going to go down. But Silent shows up just at the end of this. The Hand of God is used. One more right click, and he is going to go down. But that said, the Dragon Tail onto Silent. Nice familiar stun. Is it going to be enough to save Silent? Yes, it does appear to be. So a 3 for 3. What the fuck was that fight? I'd say I don't think it favors anybody, because there's Silent picks up some kills at the end there. lanm kills. Wow, is this gonna be another kill? No. Okay. I didn't think they couldn't get the soul assumption off, and they just needed that plus a handful of more right clicks from Silent to make that kill happen. Wow, crazy fight. All over the place, back and forth. I have to say, probably not the best idea to initiate onto the support Nyx Assassin. One of the things that's great about Nyx Assassin as a support is that with the Spike Carapace, it makes him an undesirable target to initiate on. And he is opting to level that over the mana burn. So that's a 1.2 second stun that immediately applies to Batrider, and it means that since you can't, if you're not able to kill him before the duration of the lasso, every team is going to eat a stun from him if you try and focus him down. And if you don't, that means it's taking that much longer to kill him, and you're losing the advantage of taking him out. Oh no, there's a solo kill. Silent is finding these kills, although there could be an immediate return kill. There's the Vendetta combined with the Flame Breath of the Impale. It's an easy kill for RaTtLeSnAkE. Tough to say who that favors. It is a kill on RaTtLeSnAkE's carry, but Quantic are looking a lot, or looking to Silent for a lot in this game, and every death that he has is a pretty big deal, especially because it's a Clinkz. Clinkz is not like Weaver. Weaver can have an amazing game at any point. He can show up at 60 minutes and do some amazing things. Clinkz is not like that. Clinkz needs to be a wrecking ball by 30 minutes. He's got to have his core items up. Otherwise, he's just not going to have much impact in the game. Low. Oh, funzii. He does finally catch him. Is there going to be enough of a response here from RaTtLeSnAkE? And yeah, it looks like Quantic is going to be able to find this kill pretty easy. RaTtLeSnAkE will not be able to rotate fast enough. The question is, can they find any return kills? Nobody is particularly low, but oh, lanm. He pops the Shadow Blade. opts not to even use it to get the dragon tail off. A bit of a... Yeah, the familiar stuns will stop RaTtLeSnAkE from continuing that chase. So, overall, good for Quantic. They may be able to continue this pressure up at top. But to continue what I was saying about Clinks, he's got to peak at 30 minutes. If he doesn't, then he turns out to be not useless, but he's just not a hard carry. He relies on the Searing Arrows damage for a lot of that early power. And he's not particularly tanky. He doesn't provide any CC. And once there are no more outer towers to take down, the Searing Arrows offers a little bit less in terms of utility to the team, because its greatest strength is probably its ability to push down the towers, and of course the extra burst damage. But at the end of the day, the plus 50 damage. There's many orbs in the game that provide a lot more than that, either in actual damage output or just in utility provided to the team. Another weakness of Clinks is that he does rely on the Death Pact to be at full operation. Oh, nice. Blink in, lasso onto lanm. This is a tanky target to try and take down, but they're getting all the damage they need. The Hand of God is used. Icy, he tries to go in and find a kill there, but that was actually a gem given up. As a result of that kill, I didn't realize that lanm was carrying a gem. But that's an even worse kill given that drop. Especially versus a Clinks, it's really important for RaTtLeSnAkE to have this vision up. And it's going to allow some easy dewarding for Quantic. They didn't have a gem, and now they do. Given that they've just taken the mid-tier 1 as well as the top tier 2, it's going to be easy for Quantic to exert a lot of map control right now. Another big question in this match is going to be the Roche. Either team has good potential for taking the Roche. I would say it probably favors Quantic because they've got Visage as well as Batrider. Both of these heroes are really good when it comes to engagements in the Roche pit. With the familiars providing flying scouting, and of course the Firefly from Batrider providing flying vision. Actually, that's a solo kill down at bottom. Low versus Darkseer. That's an important kill for Low. He has not managed to really find his stride this game. 22 minutes in, still working. Just finishes his Black King bar as a result of that kill. Although up at top, Icy, he's able to live, just barely live through the duration of the Orchid. That's the critical period for Icy. If he can live through the Orchid, then he'll have a much better time. Nevertheless, Silent is providing a lot of pressure onto Icy this game, slowing him down quite a bit. Putting it back on the net worth here. The top 3 in net worth are now favoring Quantic. It was pretty even 5 to 6 minutes ago in this game. But as a result of the team fights have been favoring Quantic so far, I guess maybe not the team fights, but the lack of team fights, RaTtLeSnAkE has not been able to fight on the terms that they really want to because of the Batrider, and this is why Batrider has been the most banned hero of 6.78 as well as 6.77. Io is a top competitor for that slot, but across the scene, east and west, Batrider is just such a pain in the ass to deal with, and there's no amount of positioning that you can do to guarantee that there will never be a lasso. And because of the yeah, Icy tries to, he gets the time lapse off, but no, this could be a sloppy engagement here for Quantic. Are they going to be able to finish him off? No, they're not. Sloppy positioning, or really ability use from Silent. He fails to use the Orchid before the end of the lasso, and so that allows the time lapse to be used from Icy, and so they don't get the kill, and that means they also don't get the bottom tier 2. So unfortunate use of abilities there from Quantic. RaTtLeSnAkE are going to use this time to start up on Roche. The question is, and actually the familiars are headed straight here, so Quantic is going to be aware, and now that the familiars show up, RaTtLeSnAkE is forced to back out. Oh, funzii walks straight in. He just gets melted. This is a huge problem for Quantic. The chain stun starts on sockshka. The Requiem of Souls right on top of sockshka. He's going to go down as well. That's 2 kills going in favor of RaTtLeSnAkE. right off the bat here. Goblak as well. He may be soon to follow. Vintage does find a return kill onto Kabu. But, oh no, funzii has bought back. He's shown up. He's used the Lasso onto low, but do they have the burst damage necessary? He 4-staffs away, but he's probably going to go down solo to Icy, and fucking man goes down as well. BKB gets popped by Silent because he just wants to escape. Icy picks up a triple kill here in this fight. It's basically a complete team wipe because fucking mad. funzii bought back in this engagement. This is disastrous for Quantic. They lose the Roche, and it's a 5-for-2, and they only pick up supports. They get no important kills in this fight. This is going to allow RaTtLeSnAkE to do basically whatever they want. After that fight, yeah, things were really trending in favor of Quantic. But they basically just gave up their entire advantage. And definitely experienced dropping from 5,000 in Quantic's favor down to 0. Huge problem for Quantic. It's going to put them on the back foot, and it's going to make it a lot harder to mine more kills. They gave up a gem in that fight. I think RaTtLeSnAkE probably now has two gems because they bought a second one after losing that first gem. So RaTtLeSnAkE, they could sit back and farm. They have a lot of options for how they want to play this. Quantic do not. Quantic really need to keep the pressure up. They don't have a terrible late game. They've got Enchantress. Clinks, he's not bad late game. He's just not a hard carry. And of course, Darkseer, as demonstrated in that 96-minute Fnatic game, is something of a he's like a utility carry with his wall. And the Darkseer wall does do very well versus Shadow Fiend as well as Dragon Knight. So the late game for Quantic is not bad, but comparing it to the Tricor on RaTtLeSnAkE, this is Weaver, Shadow Fiend, Dragon Knight. A really solid combination. Lots of different damage coming out, and particularly Weaver. Weaver just gets harder and harder to kill as the game goes on. There's a Perseverance picked up on Icy, so he's looking towards that Lincoln Sphere. It's going to be a while before he has it, but once he does, he'll be a lot harder to kill. The Lincoln Sphere is a necessity for him in this game because of the lasso from Batrider. A lot of games I would opt to criticize the Lincoln Sphere pickup. There's a sentry ward here from RaTtLeSnAkE, so they're aware that Silent's here. Is there another gem picked up, or is that a sentry? Trying to keep track of all of these. Yes, there's another gem on funzii. And it looks like he's going for a Black King bar of his own, which I think he definitely needs. There is a lot of physical damage, however, on RaTtLeSnAkE, so I don't know how much that will really help them. But Quantic, they'd love to keep the aggression up, but there's that Aegis on Shadow Fiend, and that makes it a lot harder. The important thing for RaTtLeSnAkE is not to let Quantic get any pickoffs. That's rule number 1 here. If they give up any pickoffs, then they lose the advantage that they just acquired. And Quantic is a team. It's pretty hard not to give up the pickoffs because there's both a Clinks and a Batrider. It's a number of different ways that you can be initiated on. It's not just sentries that you have to keep up, but you've also got to keep great ward vision and awareness of where the Batrider might be, as well as just never extending out even slightly too far. Which, for most of this game, I would say at least the last 5 minutes, RaTtLeSnAkE has been doing an okay job of. They've given up a lot of solo kills this game, versus particularly versus Silent. One problem that funzii will have is that, as much as he might be able to find someone, he doesn't have the damage on his own. Not anymore, anyways. But with Silent, he certainly does. If they can find... Oh, there's the layering of stuns here, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. They're going to take down Icy, no problem. This is exactly what RaTtLeSnAkE could not do. It's going to allow Quantic to apply a lot more pressure, perhaps take over the jungle. Oh, but there's the initiation onto fucking Mad. Are they going to be able to take him down quickly? The mechanism is popped to keep him alive for the time being, but sockshka, he's getting chain stun. A nice, really nice blocking from lanm is going to keep sockshka right in range, but they're not going to be able to finish him off. He's just too tanky. He's got that Hood of Defiance. Very easy for him to stay alive, even with a great block from lanm. I really liked that. So RaTtLeSnAkE finds a return kill here. It is just a support. It's not one of their one of the core heroes for Quantic, but nevertheless will basically thwart Quantic from being as aggressive as they want to be on the back of that kill. Taking a look at some items here. Sag, he's the war bitch this game, got his dusts. That's one thing that Clinks really forces the enemy team to do. You've got to get tons of sentries and dust, and that means the supports are going to be a lot poorer in this game. lanm has picked up his BKB. That's still a full 10-second charge, so he's got that ready to go for the next fight. BKB very late on low, but he does have it. He's going for a Morbid Mass next. Possibly wanting to get a Helm of the Dominator so he can start stacking up those Ancients. Icy's still working towards that Lincoln Sphere. And a Ghost Scepter picked up on Kabu. Oh, Quantic. They could get caught here. They don't have Silent nearby. Oh, it's fucking mad. He eats the Dragon Tail and the Chain Stun. No chance for him to get any Soul Assumptions off in this. And funzii, his Blink Dagger's actually been disabled by the Swarm from Icy. It's one of the strengths of Weaver's Swarm is that if you apply it to enough heroes,
middle tower is under
it disables
attack.
Blink Daggers, and
Radiant's
you can't stop
structures
and
are
remove it.
fortified.
So great chasing ability in that respect. Point Booster is up on sockshka, so he's looking towards that Aghanim Scepter, which I think is really the right choice. Against a Tricore,
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
the really strong illusions from the
Dire's
Darkseer
top
wall
tower is under attack.
are quite strong. So that's gonna be a great pickup for him. Fucking mad. Because there's a Nyx Assassin on the enemy team, there's a lot of poor, or slow, I shouldn't say poor supports. Actually, over in mid, free kill on Kabu, as well as his creeps. Sticks it around too long. There's really no reason for him to be this far forward, especially you can look at the positioning of his team. They're nowhere nearby, so he just sticks around too long. Not the most important kill, especially
Radiant's
Chen.
bottom tower is under
Chen does
attack.
not do a lot as you get into the late game. He's basically just there for the mechanism and Hand of God. And if you're lucky,
Radiant's
the
bottom
creeps.
tower
It's
is
hard to
under
keep creeps up
attack.
as the game goes forward.
Radiant's bottom
That's
tower
That's
has
one thing that
fallen.
Quantic does have in their favor is that Enchantress definitely a much better late game hero than a Chen is. Mid tier 2 getting a lot of damage. RaTtLeSnAkE would love to initiate on this. But oh, PKB's popped on lanm. Uses the Dragon Tail on sockshka, but looks like they're just gonna take the kill on fucking mad. Now sockshka, he's dropping low on mana. Goblak, he goes down as well. This is a very sloppy engagement for funzii, or for Quantic. It's a 3 for none for basically no reason. RaTtLeSnAkE basically just walked in there. There was not a lot of reason for that to play out the way that it did. I think poor positioning from Quantic. They were really grouped up. Fucking mad consistently has not had the right positioning. He's just been eating a lot of damage, and he needs to be alive in these fights to cast his Soul Assumption. That's one way that you can pressure these very squishy Tricore heroes on RaTtLeSnAkE. RaTtLeSnAkE are probably going to take a Rax off of this. There's no Fortify available. Yeah, it's going to be mid-Rax
Radiant's middle
as a result of that very sloppy engagement from Quantic. They try to pressure the tier 2. They get initiated on. They try and do to stop the initiation from lanm, but he had his BKB, and after the first familiar stun, just walked straight in. No trouble for him to do exactly what he did. Silent, he's got his Demon Edge. He's looking towards an MKB. Could also be a Daedalus. Daedalus is quite strong on Clinks, but either way, that's not enough damage. He's really the only source of damage that Quantic has right now, especially with Goblak being kind of underfarmed. If they had the Aghanims to look forward to on Enchantress, that would be a huge source of damage, and I think it would actually be really important. But that's nowhere nearby. Not anytime soon. A BKB up on funzii in the near future, I don't know. It will help, but it's not damage, and I really think that's what Quantic lacks right now. They've got stuns. They've got initiation power. They just don't have the follow-up. They don't have particularly great AoE. And with fucking Mad going down first in all of these fights, the soul assumption damage is not there. And because of the great physical damage on RaTtLeSnAkE, the familiars are going down pretty quickly. Or at the very least, he's forced to use the stun defensively rather than as a tool of control. Oh, Quantic, they've got to be careful here. If they walk into RaTtLeSnAkE, they will just melt. At this point, they're pretty far behind. They've got a 5,000 gold deficit, 2,500 experience. The experience difference is not so huge, but nevertheless, I think, especially with that Rax down, it's not easy for Quantic to push out these lanes, and Clinkz is in fact quite bad as far as carries go at keeping lanes pushed out. RaTtLeSnAkE, they're smoked up here. Quantic does not have any vision of them. They were hoping to find them in the jungle, but it doesn't look like. This is Kabu's creep here, so they know that RaTtLeSnAkE was somewhere nearby, but not any longer. Oh, Silent! No, he's gonna get chain stunned. He gets force-staffed out by funzii, pops the BKB, but he doesn't have his invisibility. Oh, nice vacuum from sockshka, pulling everybody down into the river, but they don't have the follow-up. That was an amazing vacuum from sockshka. It's definitely saving. Oh, fucking Mad, what are you doing? Why are you down in the river? This removes the whole advantage of pulling him into the river. Quantic, why you do this? Okay, that was an amazing vacuum from sockshka. He saves Silent's life. He pulls RaTtLeSnAkE into the perfect position. Now, Quantic doesn't have. Oh no, Silent. He's gonna go down as well. This is looking really bad for Quantic. This is gonna be Roche. That's 4 heroes for none in favor of RaTtLeSnAkE. Disastrous. Okay, that fight. Silent, he gets caught out. No reason for him to be to be aggressively positioned anymore as Clinkz at 37 minutes into the game. You should expect that they have vision, and they do. So he gets caught, gets chain stunned. Good force staff by funzii, pushes him out. Can I draw on the map? Nope. Still can't draw on the map as a spectator. But gets force staffed out. The great vacuum from sockshka. This is the important part that Quantic misplays. They're all down in the river here. All Quantic has to do is stay on either side and auto-attack down the supports. Once the supports are down, they can move on to Shadow Fiend. The carries that are not so hard to kill. Then they can take down Dragon Knight or Weaver, whichever one is immediately available. They had to stay up on the cliffs though. Fucking Mad, his positioning over and over again has not been good. He comes down, basically feeds himself in the river. There's no reason to be down there. He should walk back and go up onto the cliff. So, it's really unfortunate. That was a brilliant vacuum from sockshka. One of the things that I love about Darkseer and why I don't really tire of seeing him is that vacuum is a skill of infinite uses. There's so many ways that you can use vacuum to control the enemy team, and that's a perfect example of how you can completely turn a fight around. That was a 5-man vacuum. But his team just not positioning and adapting correctly to the great work by sockshka. And to be fair, you don't expect a 5-man vacuum down into the river. Oh, goblak. Yeah, no way out for him on this one. It's 18-27, 39 minutes into the game. 10,000 gold lead in favor of RaTtLeSnAkE, 10,000 experience lead, especially after that last fight. Huge disaster for Quantic. Another thing we haven't seen from Silent this game is any split pushing, which I really think is important versus this RaTtLeSnAkE lineup. When you're up against a Chen, there's no reason to do anything but force the team to split up. Chen loves to group as 5, and that's something that RaTtLeSnAkE has been doing a lot of in this game. But Quantic needs to apply pressure throughout the map, and that's the only way that they can get back in this game. Quantic still has a chance here. But they've got to keep all the lanes pushed out. And ideally get these, they've got to take the remaining gold on the map with the outer tier 2s. Get their next wave of items up. And then hope to challenge the next Roche. That's really all they can do. But RaTtLeSnAkE, if they want, they can just 5-man down top. And if they take another set of racks, that's lights out for Quantic. And even if Quantic does manage to split push really well, one of the things about a Tricores don't mind split push all that much, because then they can just farm all their cores up. Oh, there's a blink in from funzii. He's actually able to catch lanm. Very tanky target, but they're not able to take him down soon enough. RaTtLeSnAkE, they're just going past the tower. They can take this however they want. Goblak would love to finish off the Chen, but no chance. It's 2 down on Quantic so far. RaTtLeSnAkE, I think they can just take the entire base as they please here. There are no buybacks available on Quantic. Oh no, it's another kill. Easily going towards the way of RaTtLeSnAkE. I have to say, pretty well played from RaTtLeSnAkE. This is more consistent play than I think I've seen from them in a number of games. And Quantic calls a GG. 18-30, 41 minutes into the game. As the first game of the International, I'd say this is off to a good start. A very good start indeed. An exciting game, well played by both sides. I would say Quantic, it really went wrong for them when they gave up the triple kill in the top lane. That's where you could say it really went wrong. A slightly too slow Orchid on Silent had a pretty negative impact there. They needed him to get involved as soon as possible, and he did the best he could with last hits. He did very well in lane. He definitely beat Icy. But the big question, I think the big mistake he made was he didn't farm enough. He really should have dedicated more time down to that bottom lane, done more split pushing. He was afraid of the Nyx Assassin. He was getting picked off. But good support from his team. I mean, they had the money, particularly once they hit the 20-minute mark. There were a lot of towers down. The supports had the gold to provide the sentry wards that Silent needed to do his farming. Because it was really, in the beginning, it's the Vendetta initiation from Nyx Assassin. Later on, it becomes the Shadowblade initiation from Dragon Knight. But if you've got the sentry wards up, that gives Clinkz time to get away. But the other thing is that if you keep farming, if you keep your farm up and you get your BKB, that initiation is not such a big deal. If you can pop the BKB in time, that's really all you have to do. Clinkz has basically a built-in haste rune with his skeleton walk, so I think Silent could have played it a little bit better. Needed to get more farm. And I think some bad positioning from Quantic was also, you could say that was definitely the problem of the initial 3 kills and the try went up top. Fucking Mad in particular, not to call a player out, but there were just a couple fights there where his positioning was not ideal, and he did not have the impact that Visage can really have in almost any game. He has huge damage output if you keep him alive for the soul assumptions, and they really needed that. Quantic was low on damage, particularly once they got past the 25 to 30 minute mark. Nonetheless, a great game, and oh man, I'm so excited.